Greetings, agents. This is your community manager, 3RL. It's good to be back to deliver the news on Marvel Future Fight's July update. Agents, are you ready to witness the mighty warriors of Asgard? The theme for July's update is War of the Realms. Odin, the most powerful being of the 10 realms, and the formidable Angela fight back against the leader of the Dark Elves, Malekith, and Enchantress, the sorceress who beguiles her enemies. Will Odin and Angela be able to protect the 10 realms? Now, let's jump into the July update. Before we get started, please note that the footage presented in this video has been recorded with a test build, and there may be differences from the actual update. And of course, we have also prepared a gift for agents who watch the live stream to the very end. So please stay tuned. Now, let's get into action. Odin, the mighty ruler of Asgard, has acquired a new uniform and a Tier 4 advancement. Odin's powers have become even stronger with this uniform. We have restored Odin's appearance from the ancient Earth, 1 million BC, when he was Avenger on Midgard. With this uniform, Odin's powers will convert to lightning status and deal devastating attacks to his enemies. Odin confronts his enemies with Mjolnir for the will of Asgard. Odin's leader skill, Asgardian Wisdom, applies to all allies, removes all debuffs, and increases all resistance by a percentage. Enough talking, let's go ahead and check out the action, shall we? Alrighty, check how he flies in there, almighty. Before we look into Odin's skills, let's keep in mind all his skills will now inflict lightning damage. All right, first up, we have Hammer of Justice. Turn off the settings real quick there. Perfect. And Hammer of Justice causes bleed, deals additional damage, decreases recovery rate by a percentage, and removes elasticity. One more time there for everybody. Next up, these guys over here are going to experience Glorious Strike. Get them from this side as well. Now, Glorious Strike applies shock and paralysis to enemies, dealing additional lightning damage, and ignoring immunity, applies barrier multiple times to self. One last time. All right. Next up, we have Wrathful Wave. Alrighty, that's a fun one. Wrathful Wave applies silence and fracture to enemies, applies invincible to self, accumulates a percentage of pure damage, and a small percentage increase of all basic attacks accumulated. Next up, this frontline guys are going to experience Mjolnir's Strike. Bring him over to these other guys so we're getting an attack there later. Mjolnir's Strike applies shock and causes stun and paralysis, ignoring target dodge rate, and has all damage immunity for a short period amount of time, increases basic damage by a percentage for one attack. Next up, this is my favorite skill that's been added. It's called Giant Thunderstorm, and you'll see right away why it's called so. Giant Thunderstorm applies shock to enemies, stun and incapacitates, and it removes active buff. It decreases all basic attacks by a percentage, regardless of immunity, and is stackable. It applies recovery and HP, invincible, and increases all basic attacks, defense, speed, and crit rate, as well as removing incapacitation. I'm going to just show that one more time because I'm such a big fan. Gotta love that big, giant Odin. All right, so next up, his ultimate skill is Triumph of Asgard. Let's go ahead and check that out real quick. Got some friends and familiar faces jumping in there, Loki and Thor, ready to join the battle. Alrighty, let's go ahead and check out the combos real quick. The dev recommended combo is 3, 5, and 4. And we're going to go ahead and preview that so I don't mess it up. These combos are sometimes hard to hit. Let's check it out real quick here. And of course, there are going to be more combos you can check out for yourselves once you have this unlocked. Awesome. Are you ready to help Odin defend his kingdom as the king of Asgard? Next up, we have Enchantress. A member of the Dark Council has arrived on Earth. Enchantress has received a new uniform in Tier 3 advancement through this July update. Check out some of those green powers emanating. With this uniform, all basic attacks and damage dealt to boss types of supervillains will be increased, so that Enchantress can not only be used as a leader, but for support as well. Let's go ahead and check out how Enchantress charms her enemies, shall we? Alrighty, she also flies in. Enchantress attacks by shooting energy orbs quickly as she moves through portals. Her first move is called Alluring Wave. Try to get a better angle of that one. So, turn off that timer again. Sorry about that. Alluring Wave causes snare and mind damage. These guys on the right over here are going to experience her second move, which is called Fatal Charm. And as you can see, she charms her enemies, which deals a percentage of mind damage and recovers equal to percentage of damage as well. Let's check it out again. It also causes paralysis, applies invisibility that ignores target to self. See those little cute little hearts? Alrighty, the guys over here are going to experience the Sphere of Despair. Sphere of Despair decreases all basic defenses by a small percentage and is stackable. It ignores immunity, accumulates a percentage of damage, and a small increase to all basic attacks. Next up, gonna give it to these guys in the front. White Thorn Explosion. This move is mind control, increases basic damage by a small percentage, and causes paralysis. It applies all damage immunity, increases all basic attacks, defense, and speeds to self. Alright, move number 5 is a fun one as well. This one is called Ploy of Temptation. This move, stuns enemies and decreases mind resistance and applies a recover percentage of HP and invincible. One more time, just because I like that one. Flying through those portals. Alrighty. Her new ultimate skill is called Irresistible Charm. Let's go ahead and check that one out, shall we? Irresistible Charm applies snare and mind control. Applies a high percentage chance to penetrate super armor, barrier, shield, and all damage immune and invincible. It also grants invincible and increases all basic attacks and defense, crit rate, and speed while removing incapacitation. Let's also go ahead and check out her combos, shall we? The devs recommend number 3, 4, and 5. And again, we're just going to preview those, so I don't want to mess it up. Want to make sure you guys get the best action available. Awesome. Let us know in the comments if you're excited to wield Enchantress's mystical powers. Next up, we have Malekith, and his soldiers are attempting to rule the world through darkness. I'm a big fan of this character's animation as well. And at last, they have finally arrived in Midgard. Gotta love those flight abilities. Let's go ahead and check out the power of Malekith, who seeks to restore his past glory through insidious means. Alrighty. Malekith attacks his enemies from all sides with his teleportation abilities using the Venom symbiote. His first move is called Blade of Darkness, and that causes bleed. Again, let's turn off that timer. Alrighty, one more time. And then next up, we have Demonic Cruelty, which causes stun and paralysis. One more time for everybody. Next up, we have Agonized Strike, which these guys are going to experience here. Agonized Strike causes fear and incapacitation. Applies super armor, barrier, and increase to all basic attacks. Speed and crit rate to self. Alrighty. Next up, we have Sinful Blade. That's a fun one there. Sinful Blade applies stun, fear, and paralysis, and applies recovered HP to self. Let's check that out one more time. And it increases all basic attacks and invincibility. Next up, we have the skill number 5, which is Cursed Realm. Cursed Realm causes fear and paralysis and decreases all basic defenses by a percentage. It grants all damage immunity while accumulating a percentage of all damage inflicted and increases a small percentage of basic attacks. And lastly, we have his Awakened skill. Let's stay with these guys. There's a nice bunch of them here. We have Hateful Darkness. Joining Malekith is Ulik, a powerful companion who rules the battlefield with troll-like abilities. Hateful Darkness applies stun and paralysis, applies crit rate, crit damage, ignores target dodge rate, and applies invincible while removing all buffs. It also increases basic damage by percentage for one attack, and increasing all basic attacks. Let's check out his combos as well. Alrighty, the devs recommend 3, 5, and 4. And again, let's just hit that lovely preview button. And in the comments, if you want to let me know how to really nail those combos, I'd love to see it because, you know, still learning. Look at that devastating attack. Will the superheroes of Earth and the gods of Asgard be able to defend Midgard? Next up, we have Angela, the warrior of heaven, expelled for her past deeds, continues to explore Earth instead of turning to Asgard. Angela swings her sword through the air and, using the wings of her armor, gathers enemies with a ribbon for a massive attack. Are you looking forward to Angela's journey back to the 10th realm of heaven? Alrighty then. Angela's first move is called Heaven's Sword, which causes stun. Again, let's turn that off one last time. And again, that's Heaven's Sword. Next up, we have Merciless Assassin. Merciless Assassin causes bleed and paralysis. And one more time for everybody. Her next move is called Demon Slaughter, and those ribbons we were talking about will come into play now. Let's check that out real quick and try to get it from the front. Bam. Demon Slaughter causes bleed, snare, and paralysis, granting invincible and increase all basic attack, defense, crit rate, and speed while removing incapacitation. Alrighty, skill number 4 is called Angel Strike. Let's go over here. Angel Strike applies silence and applies to self and increase a percentage of all basic attacks for a small amount of time of pure damage accumulated. One more time for everybody. Next up, skill 5 is called Heavenly Judgment. Let's get this big group over here. Heavenly Judgment causes stun, silence, and incapacitation. Applies a recovery of HP and increases all basic damage for one attack. And lastly, we have her Awakened skill, Angel's Judgment. And let's just check it out for fun, shall we? A couple familiar faces come in to aid her in that move. All right, lastly, let's go ahead and check out her combo recommended by the devs. We have 3, 4, and 5. And let's go ahead again and just take the moment to see it perfectly here. We're excited for Angela's abilities, which Heaven and Asgard both seek. Awesome. Let us know in the comments which character is your favorite in this War of the Realms update. Alrighty. Let's get into some of the other updates, shall we? Give me 1 second here. Here we go. And now, we'll go over the other main changes for the July update. Starting with great news for new agents. Exclusive buff effects for new agents will be added. Various effects that will help new players proceed through the game, including hero XP acquisition increase as well as gold acquisition increase, and a 100% discount for various unequipped costs. This will be given for a whole 2 weeks. Try out and unequip comic cards and custom gear for free with this buff. But don't forget to unequip your previous gear before equipping any new gear, so your former gear doesn't get destroyed forever. Various improvements have been made as well for the convenience of our agents. We've added a hero recommendation guide that suggests optimal heroes based on their use, and it has been added now. Agents can now check the heroes with their appropriate effects without having to go over each hero. So let's go ahead and see how that works real quick, shall we? First up, we're going to go ahead and tap all. Filter the heroes by this, and I'm going to go ahead with, you have leader, support, dealer, and such. You can see all of them. I'm going to choose leader. And I'm going to go ahead and, for this experiment, choose Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman has a leader skill that applies specifically to Spider Sense hero types, and you can check that out either here or right here as well. Pops that up nicely. Then I'll go ahead and do that same and hit support and select White Fox. The support filter applies to passive skills, tier 2 skills, and uniform effects. White Fox has a tier 2 passive skill buff that applies only to allies with leadership. And you can go ahead again, check that out here, right there. Wonderful. And now we'll go ahead and choose dealer. I am going to pick Spider-Man. Alrighty. If you tap the check box here at the bottom, you can see various view-only targets that can apply leader and passive skill. And we see there that it clears that up. That Spider Sense type leader skill and leadership support buff. And it's, ta-da! It's almost like magic, the hero list changes. You can now see heroes that fall both categories, and they have been filtered. You can also go ahead and check out here. Hit this little guy, go to details, and you can see which of those buffs, of course, are still applied. Let's check out more content with this July update. Alrighty, give me a second here to load up the next thing. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Next up, we have a former game mode, Timeline Survival, has been updated to a new event. So let's quickly go over the changes of the event Timeline Survival. Let's get into action, shall we? Alrighty. First of all, agents can now choose the difficulty between modes freely. Choose and challenge beginner, normal, and ultimate difficulty right away. So you can, quick and easy here. The participation requirements are different for each difficulty, but agents can try and challenge powerful enemies right away if you have enough heroes who meet the participation requirements. Alrighty, so let's go and just take a quick look at that. So beginner starts pretty simple. Once you get into normal mode, you have to have some little bit higher standards, and of course, ultimate, you have the highest requirements. Let's go with normal. I think I can handle it. We're just gonna go ahead and, select our main squad, throw in a few here. Who else we got? We'll just line it up. Let's go. Alrighty. Timeline Survival will proceed like this when you select difficulty, so let's go ahead and enter. Awesome. As you can see, temporal energy will be consumed when moving through the board. Let's go to this little question mark here. Alrighty. What do we got? Oh, alright. Got a little trick there. If you need additional temporal energy, you can play other game modes, and you can check out those game modes right here. So you can see all the different modes you can play to unlock that temporal energy. As you may have noticed, energy and boost points will no longer be consumed in Timeline Survival. Now you can enjoy timeline survival without having to worry about consuming that precious energy. Lastly, the map size and rewards have been increased. See, it goes all the way over here. We got a nice little area for you. Exploring through the maps will become even more exciting. And as you said, if you move back anywhere, you're going to lose out some of that energy. So just be aware, every move is precious. We hope you look forward to the new event, Timeline Survival. And take note that Timeline Survival will no longer be regular content. Additional events await as well. So be sure to enjoy the July update. And now, it's time for the event coupons, the moment everyone is always waiting for. The coupon code can be used in the main lobby, going to Settings, Info, and Coupon for Android users. But of course, if you are an iOS and Apple user, check out the coupon registration page in our forum. There is also a link that should be provided in the chat sometime soon. The coupon code today is MFFWOTR. Again, MFFWOTR, and that is for War of the Realms. It'll be valid until 7/25 Tuesday, 7:59 a.m. PDT. So be sure to enter that code quickly, since it will expire soon. I hope you're as excited as we are for the July update. Let us know in the comments below what you think, and be sure to follow our social media channels and forums for everything Marvel Future Fight. Goodbye, everyone. 3RL signing off, and we'll see you next time.